Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this week's RTech webinar, The State of Failover in 2022. My name's Scott Swisher. I'm the GM here at RTech. I'm here with my co-host, Jared Grant. He's our operations manager. Together, we will be your hosts today. Just talk about what exactly is failover. It's a great question. I was at a trade show earlier this year, and a lot of folks came by the booth and asked that exact question. So we thought it'd be a great place to get us started today. During a network failure, standby equipment takes over when the main connection fails. It's not a matter of if that main connection is going to fail today. It's always a when. As businesses use more and more cloud-based services, applications for their to manage business in their daily operations, uninterrupted network access is just as important today as, if not more important, than keeping the lights out, right? So what is failover? It's that secondary connection for when that primary connection fails. And our Failover-as-a-Service automatically knows exactly when there's an issue with the network and maintains a sustainable cellular connection. We have 5G ready devices. It's a hands-free solution, so there's no work you have to do when a failure occurs. We are able to provide the data as well as the hardware, and it's an always-on solution. So it's just sitting in the background waiting for that failure to happen. And what are some common challenges? I talked a little bit about it already, but a great common challenge is 96% of consumers prefer to have Wi-Fi at a business. So think about when you're at a coffee shop and you jump on their Wi-Fi and it's not there, right? How many people go work from a coffee shop today and use that Wi-Fi, or you're in the airport, or whatever brand you're talking about. A lot of people, a lot of customers prefer to spend their money at businesses where they can take advantage of those perks, Wi-Fi being the biggest and easiest perk for a business to provide that way. But also let's take a look at the restaurant industry. As we went through the COVID shutdown, so many restaurants had no indoor seating. They had to rely to sustain their businesses on online orders. If there was no internet connection, there's no online orders. There's no DoorDash. There's no Uber Eats, etc. So, what would happen? So, what happens when that goes down? Again, 82% of shoppers check their phones in a retail store before they, while they're making purchases. 72% success rate is reported for businesses that offer free Wi-Fi. Again, as an example. So. Even if you think about a restaurant, again, their POS, the kitchen management software, that's all cloud-based. They can't even send an order from the front to the back to the kitchen to fulfill an order if that failover solution is not in place. So what's the real cost of business downtime? These are some big averages and some big numbers that we have verified and researched through sources like Veritiv and places like that. The average cost of a business's downtime on an annual basis is about 9,000 minutes. Sounds ridiculous, right? But think about the large businesses that they're polling to get this information. For smaller businesses, the average cost of downtime is anywhere from $100 to $500 a minute. Just think about if McDonald's didn't have the ability to accept cards, or Starbucks, or even the towing company, right? That's got to tow a car. So 40% of outages damage a brand's reputation. 50% of outages result in in lost productivity for employees. They're standing around and they got nothing to do because they can't conduct their business. So they end up getting sent home, or the business just has them standing around. It's just lost productivity. 43% of businesses experience data loss during that network downtime. So just definitely don't want any of those things to occur. And we have the solution to be able to make sure it doesn't. So business downtime costs. Here's another little bit of a breakdown for you to take a look at in the pie chart. And the biggest industries where we see the most serious setbacks during downtime is retail. So grocery store. You walk into the grocery store and they say, "Oh, sorry, sir. When you got your cart full of groceries, and we can't accept cards today because our internet service is down. There was an accident out front, and a truck hit a pole, and the fiber's been cut." So hospitality in the hotel industry. Again, how many of you use the hotel Wi-Fi, provided through that fiber connection? We do a tremendous amount of business in the hotel industry today, providing those secondary connections, that business continuity connection, and then healthcare. Think of that as well, right? You're in the hospital or at the doctor's office. The applications that they use, Epic, the record keeping software, the major, the largest record keeping software that in the medical field today. If you don't have access to the internet, there's no records. There's no record keeping. There's no access to any of that. So real world use cases. I could probably talk for the next 4 hours about different use cases. But I've got a couple I want to share with you here today. CJ's Closet is a women's clothing retail store. They opened their doors with fixed wireless access and 5G failover connectivity. So they chose to forego traditional cash registers. They actually don't have a traditional POS system in their stores, and they use an app-based POS tablet. CJ's needed something fast and reliable to handle the constant influx of customers, and without one of those solutions, their ability to complete sales would be lost. So they have a 5G failover solution and a fixed wireless access solution deployed on site at their store. Several IoT devices, like their POS from their iPads, can all be controlled. Their inventory management, their online ordering, etc. So the benefits, main benefits, it creates 99.99% uptime. There's probably more nines in front of that in that number than listed there. It's faster checkout times. It's extended 5G coverage that enables their POS system to be mobilized and used anywhere in the store. So the employees of the store just walk around with the tablets. And they're not fixed to a checkout stand at the front of the store. So in the hotel industry, the hospitality industry, hotels often face connectivity issues due to the sheer number of guests that they have on their network at any given time. One 4-star hotel, estimated network issues cost them about $120,000 in revenue. 5G failover, again, can help alleviate some of that networking challenge just by providing a backup network solution used in certain rooms or areas of the hotel. Hotel guests rank Wi-Fi as the number one most important in-room amenity. It's not the mini bar, guys, or the free ironing board. Faster speeds on the primary network, load balancing, some load balancing, and just sheer peace of mind that guests and mission critical devices will have the connectivity that they need.
Scott, if you don't mind me jumping in for a second with another real world scenario. Scott and I attended the National Restaurant Association Expo back in May. It was held at the McCormick Center in Chicago. Made a lot of good contacts, but a real world scenario. Talked to a lady that owns a lakeside grill at a small place right outside Houston, Texas, and talking about some of our failover bundle solutions. One of them, and we'll talk about some of the solutions and maybe a little of the pricing. But one of our solutions is roughly $49.99. Now, she said during 1 week, around the 4th of July, one weekend, Thursday through Monday, all of her internet went down. and they estimated that they lost somewhere between $14,000 to $15,000 in about a 3-day stretch. We talked a little bit about one of our solutions that's roughly $49.99. Just doing some quick math, $50 a month, that's $600 a year. That's $6,000 in an entire decade, if never used again. So this could have saved $14,000 for a solution that would cost very minimal in compared, even if never ever used again. So we do have those options to keep places like restaurants that highly have to have. They can't be offline. So that was a great real world scenario that we ran across, and met somebody that could really use this solution.
Yeah, it definitely. I mean, like I said earlier, think about the applications that a restaurant uses. I mean, they're literally dead in the water if they can't have a connection to the internet. So, last real world scenario I wanted to talk about is healthcare. Hospitals, neighborhood clinics, in whatever healthcare type location, around the area, they have to have IoT applications and equipment, to carry out their mission, right? So if they, were to experience an outage, just like restaurants, just like hospitality, it could impact the health and safety of their patients, though, right? And staff. So 5G failover or failover again would provide healthcare, businesses with that mission critical equipment and connectivity that they so desperately have to have. So again, talk about Epic, the patient management software, and outages there with that and lack of access to them. So in events like power outages, devices that would still require an internet connection would be able to function normally. So for the healthcare industry, primary benefits for failover solution, is just being able to have real-time access to their mission critical applications. So wanted to talk about our solutions that we have available for you for failover. The first thing that we have that I wanted to touch on is the CradlePoint W1850. It's an indoor dual connectivity adapter for fixed locations. This is a 5G application. So we have the ability to use LTE, 4G, and 5G bands to create that connectivity for you. It's certified on Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile's networks, along with FirstNet for public sector and mission critical type scenarios. They're frontline and connected heroes ready. And then we have the CradlePoint E300. There's a few different versions of this one. There's a LTE and a 5G version. It's a great product that CradlePoint has had available for a very long time. It's certified again on Verizon and AT&T and T-Mobile networks. It's also FirstNet ready and includes Wi-Fi. So this is a great application, a great solution for businesses that don't have a big network that they need to manage along with the connectivity. And then the last one we'll touch on here today is the CradlePoint L950. So this is an LTE adapter. It's powered via PoE, so we can hang that anywhere inside the business and run that back to the network rack, into the switches and so forth. There's no Wi-Fi available on this one. This is probably one of the most popular and most common CradlePoint devices that are deployed today. So last thing I wanted to talk about is just the all-in-one failover solution. What is as a service? What does that mean from RTech? So we combine the hardware, the data, and the management, the deployment, and the service of all for the solution. So we'll go to the. Oh, sorry. We'll go to like I said, so we have the management. So if you have a very lean IT department or maybe no IT department, we can manage that for you. We have help desk available for you. So if there is an issue, we can help with that primary connection as well. And then, last thing I wanted to wrap up before we open up for questions is this is new for us, something we haven't done before, but we've got some free resources. So check out getrtech.com/webinar and schedule your free failover evaluation. And you can also download today's slide package and access the webinar on demand. I'm going to take a look in the chat here, see what the questions are. Mark asked the question, do businesses ever need to worry about notifications for failover events? Would an organization need to worry about staffing specific IT management? So as a service, Mark, no, they would not, right? Because we can take care of a lot of that IT management for them. And then we have the ability to notify the business, when there is a failure. So they can either choose to have us manage that for them. We can get on the phone with their primary internet service provider and determine the cause of the outage and how long that's going to be and work on a resolution for that. Or we can simply just let you know that there's been an outage for you to do that. I hope that answers your question. I'm looking for any other questions in the chat here. Yeah, you're welcome, Mark. And I don't see any other questions in the chat. And if that's, I think that's all we have for today. Unless anybody else has any other questions they want to type in there real quick. Otherwise, that is the state of failover in 2022.